Good morning. This is the podcast, Ancient Rome Today. It's time to discuss a very serious topic. Today, we'll tackle the theme of conflicts between neighbouring peoples and adjacent states. Throughout history, both ancient and modern, we know about hundreds of conflicts, both armed and unarmed, between neighbouring peoples. England and Ireland, Russia and Ukraine, India and Pakistan, and many other examples. Some tensions even last for centuries, with no clear solution. Regardless of the nature of the conflict, it's often the larger state that wants to subjugate the smaller state. Meanwhile, the smaller state wants to live its own life independently. At the beginning of Roman history, the conquest of neighbouring tribes was a rather common phenomenon. For example, the Romans and the Sabines, a conflict that began with the Romans' kidnapping of the Sabine women, which led to a war between the two peoples. The intervention of the Sabine women contributed to the alliance between the two peoples, leading to a political and social union that strengthened Rome. During the early period of Roman history, Rome's conquest of neighbouring peoples unfolded in several phases, culminating in the subjugation of the Latins, Etruscans, Samnites, Umbrians, and Gauls in central Italy. From Rome's perspective, these conquests were favourable, whereas the view of the conquered peoples was slightly different. If you visit the archaeological museums in Umbria, for example, you'll discover how the Umbrians perceived those conquests. During the early period of Roman history, Rome's conquest of neighbouring peoples unfolded in several phases, culminating in the subjugation of the Latins, Etruscans, Samnites, Umbrians, and Gauls in central Italy. From Rome's perspective, these conquests were favourable, whereas the view of the conquered peoples was slightly different. If you visit the archaeological museums in Umbria, for example, you'll discover how the Umbrians perceived those conquests. During the Republican period, the famous Punic Wars took place. They lasted for so many decades because Rome faced a powerful enemy with a large fleet and advanced military strategies. Losses were astronomical on both sides in the 3rd and 2nd centuries BC. Unfortunately, human beings don't learn enough lessons from history. As a result, 2 world wars occurred in the previous century. When big and powerful states clash, it can be irreversible, with enormous losses and destruction. During the late Republican and Imperial periods, Rome subjugated several peoples in the Mediterranean and beyond. The conquests were no longer limited to neighbouring states. The Romans reached even the territory of contemporary Great Britain. As we know, many centuries later, Britain itself had become a conqueror of lands and peoples overseas, transforming into the largest empire of all time. You may ask, but why did Rome do this 2,000 years ago? Why do modern superpowers do this today? Conquests are often motivated by the desire to obtain precious resources, such as water, land, or minerals, things essential to human survival. Today we take this for granted, but centuries ago, unobstructed access to natural water was a privilege. From the conqueror's perspective, the acquisition of new territories and the subjugation of the peoples living there is an act of preemption. They attack to avoid being attacked. There are also many other reasons that drive some states to approach their neighbours with the intention of conquering. It's a mix of political, economic, ideological, psychological, and other reasons. The history of ancient Rome can help us understand what's happening today in the geopolitical arena and find possible ways to address modern challenges. Thank you for your attention. See you soon.